often use the line, Shay, that I'll share with you because I don't know if I've ever used it while you've been on the air with me. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. I've said that many, many times over the years. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark, and it has existed since she has arrived in the league. She is the cash cow. Just recently, a couple of days ago, I think, we saw her and another player, I think it was Elisa Boston or whatever, we saw them be the top 2 vote getters for the WNBA All-Star game so far. Every time you turn around, there seems to be something.
It is officially over. The WNBA has just crossed a line that they can never walk back from, and as we speak, the entire league is collapsing in real-time, a slow-motion car crash that no one in power seems willing to stop. Viewership ratings have literally hit rock bottom. The identities of all 34 WNBA referees have just been leaked online following what fans are calling a coordinated on-court assault on Caitlin Clark, and the sponsors are pulling out faster than anyone could have predicted. But the biggest shockwave, the one that has sent the WNBA commissioner into absolute panic mode, is a devastating 3-word final message from Caitlin Clark herself, a message that signals she is officially done. How did a single basketball game turn into a national security leak for sports officials who authorized the targeting of the biggest star in women's basketball history? And what exactly happened in those final moments that made her walk away from everything she had built? Stick around, because we are breaking down the leaked referee list, Stephen A. Smith's career-ending rant, and the exact moment the WNBA died. But trust me, the story is far darker and more complicated than what you have seen on the news. It all started when the whistle went silent, and I don't mean that in a poetic way, I mean it literally, as if the officials had collectively decided to swallow their whistles the moment Caitlin Clark crossed half-court. For months, fans noticed that Caitlin Clark was getting hit, pushed, shoved, and targeted on the court with zero protection from the officials, and it became a running joke online, a meme that people used to highlight the league's hypocrisy. But during last night's game, it reached a breaking point that no one could ignore: a brutal, uncalled foul that left Clark limping and clutching her knees, sparking outrage across the stadium as fans screamed for justice. And in that moment, as she struggled to get back on defense, something shifted in the air. A palpable tension that made everyone in the arena feel like they were watching a tragedy unfold in slow motion. But what happened next shocked the sports world, and within 2 hours of the game ending, an anonymous group leaked the full identities, personal records, and alleged internal communications of all 34 active WNBA referees online, exposing them to a level of public scrutiny that no official has ever faced before. The internet went into a frenzy, and fans started tracking every single bad call made by these specific refs against Caitlin Clark over the entire season, creating spreadsheets and video compilations that went viral across every social media platform. The evidence was damning, and it painted a picture of a league that was actively working against its own golden goose, a league that seemed more interested in humbling a rookie than protecting its biggest asset. And let me tell you, this wasn't just bad refereeing, no. This was something far more insidious, because the leaked data allegedly suggests a systematic bias, a coordinated effort to humble the rookie regardless of the physical cost. And that is a phrase that should terrify every single person who cares about the integrity of sports. It looked like a coordinated effort to humble the rookie regardless of the physical cost, and the backlash was immediate, severe, and unstoppable, as if a dam had burst and all the frustration that had been building for months came flooding out at once. While the internet was digging through the leaks, Stephen A. Smith took to the microphone, and let's just say, he did not hold back, because he didn't just criticize the refs, he went straight for the throat of the entire WNBA establishment, delivering a rant that will be studied for years to come. "It is a subversion of justice," he screamed, his voice cracking with emotion. "You have a generational talent, a woman who single-handedly brought millions of dollars and eyeballs to your league, and you treat her like a target. Those officials should not only be suspended, they need to be investigated, because you are destroying your own product out of pure jealousy." And that moment, that raw, unfiltered explosion of truth, exposed what everyone was thinking but too afraid to say, that the WNBA was letting its own referees protect a toxic culture instead of protecting its biggest asset, and he warned that if the league didn't act within 24 hours, the damage would be completely irreversible. Turns out he was completely right, and the moment the referee identities leaked, the fans took action in a way that no one had anticipated, launching a massive nationwide boycott across Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit that spread like wildfire through every corner of the internet. Millions of fans swore never to tune into another WNBA game until the league issued a formal apology and fired the officials involved, and the numbers do not lie. Because the viewership ratings for the subsequent games didn't just dip, they completely crashed in a way that has never been seen in professional sports. Networks were reportedly seeing numbers close to zero in major demographics, a catastrophic drop that sent shockwaves through the advertising industry, and advertisers who spent millions to get a piece of the Caitlin Clark effect are now frantically calling the commissioner's office, threatening to pull their money out entirely. The league is facing a financial catastrophe that could set women's sports back by decades, and the irony is that they did it to themselves. They created this mess by trying to control a narrative that was never theirs to control in the first place. But the final nail in the coffin came from Caitlin Clark herself, because known for always staying quiet, keeping her head down, and playing through the pain, she finally reached her limit, and that limit was crossed in a moment of pure devastating clarity. Following the game, a close source leaked her final message to the league office and to her inner circle, and she reportedly stated, "Clear as day, I am officially done," and those 3 words have sent shockwaves through every level of the sport. She is done playing under these conditions, done being a punching bag while the people in charge sit back and watch, and you have to understand this is a woman who has been battered and bruised for an entire season, a woman who has had her name dragged through the mud by jealous veterans who see her success as a threat to their own relevance. If the league won't protect her, she has no reason to risk her career, her health, and her future for them, and rumors are already swirling that she might sit out the rest of the season or explore international options where player safety is actually enforced. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA loses everything, and I mean everything, because the ratings, the sold-out arenas, the charter flights, it all disappears, it vanishes into thin air as if it never existed in the first place. The league thought they could handle the hype, but by letting this jealousy run rampant among players and officials, they might have just destroyed their only chance at mainstream survival, and that is a legacy that no one will be able to escape. But what do you think? Did the referees go too far, and should the commissioner step down immediately? Let me know in the comments below. And if you made it this far, please like and subscribe, because we are going to be covering every twist and turn of this story as it develops, and trust me, there are more twists coming that will leave you absolutely speechless. I need you to understand the gravity of what we are witnessing here, because this is not just about basketball. This is about the exploitation of a generational talent by an institution that was supposed to protect her, and I want you to imagine yourself in her shoes for a second, to feel that knee buckle under the weight of a hit that should have been called, to hear the silence of the whistle that never came. You are the best player on the court, the one who has brought more attention to this league than anyone in history, and yet you are being treated like a piñata, like a punching bag for players who are jealous of your success. And the officials are not just allowing it, they are enabling it. They are creating an environment where your safety is secondary to the egos of those around you. And that is the dark truth that Stephen A. Smith exposed, the truth that the league tried so desperately to hide behind a veil of progress and empowerment. But the leaks have torn that veil to shreds, revealing a rotten core that has been festering for years. The leaked communications between referees allegedly show a pattern of bias, a coordinated effort to send a message to the rookie. And if that is true, then we are talking about a conspiracy that goes far beyond bad calls. We are talking about corruption at the highest levels of the sport. The fans have already made their decision, and they have voted with their feet, refusing to watch games that feel rigged, refusing to support a league that punishes excellence instead of celebrating it, and the sponsors are right behind them, pulling their money out because they know that a product without integrity is a product that will not sell. But the biggest question remains, what happens to Caitlin Clark now? Because she has given everything to this sport, and she has been repaid with betrayal and injury, and if she walks away, she will be remembered as a martyr, a symbol of what could have been if the powers that be had simply done their jobs. And I want you to think about the broader implications of this scandal, because if the WNBA can treat its biggest star like this, what does that say about how they treat the other players? What does it say about the culture of the league as a whole? The dominoes are falling, and they are falling fast because every day brings a new revelation, a new angle, a new reason to be outraged, and the people in charge are scrambling, they are panicking, they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle, but it is too late, the genie is out, and it is not going back in. The commissioner is reportedly in crisis mode, having emergency meetings with team owners, trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding, but every move they make seems to make things worse, because they are not addressing the root cause, they are just trying to cover it up. And now, with Caitlin Clark's final message echoing in their ears, they are realizing that they have lost control, that the woman they tried to humble has just humbled them by simply refusing to play their game anymore, by refusing to be a pawn in their twisted power struggle. And you have to wonder, was this all inevitable? Was it always going to end this way, with the league cannibalizing itself out of sheer incompetence and envy? The answer is yes, because when you prioritize egos over excellence, when you let jealousy dictate your policies, you are sowing the seeds of your own destruction, and the WNBA is now reaping that harvest in the most public and humiliating way possible. But there is a glimmer of hope in all of this, because the fans are not silent. They are speaking up, they are holding the league accountable, and they're showing that they will not tolerate injustice, no matter how big the institution. The movement to boycott the games is growing by the hour, and it is spreading to other sports, other leagues, where fans are starting to ask the same questions about integrity and fairness, and that is the silver lining, that this scandal might be the catalyst for a broader reckoning in sports. But for now, the WNBA is in a freefall, and the only thing that can save them is a complete and total overhaul of their officiating system, a public apology to Caitlin Clark, and a commitment to protecting their players. But given their track record, I am not holding my breath. The next few days are going to be critical because the league is going to have to make some tough decisions, and those decisions will determine whether women's basketball thrives or survives, because without Caitlin Clark, the dream of mainstream success is dead, buried under a pile of bad calls and bruised knees. And so we are left with this haunting question: what kind of sport do we want to be? A sport that celebrates its legends, or a sport that destroys them? The answer is in the hands of the commissioner, the owners, and the fans. And as we wait to see what happens next, one thing is clear: the legacy of the WNBA is now being written in blood and tears, and it is a legacy that will be remembered for generations to come.